What's up, YouTube? I've got another yo-yo review to do today. This is the Titanium Hawk by G Squared Yoyos. So this is the Titanium Hawk version 2. There will be a pre-order up for the release version of the Titanium Hawk, which I believe is pretty much almost exactly this. But this is version 2. You're going to want to try to get a hold of these when Jake drops them at some point here mid-month, probably right after East Coast Masters. If he doesn't have a few there, G Squared will be at East Coast Masters. But at the end of the month, there will be a 1-hour pre-order. So if you've been having a hard time getting a G Squared, there's going to be an hour window where you can pre-order a Titanium Hawk. I know the pre-order money down is $50, and then you pay the rest when the Hawks show up, and you will get the ultimate EDC yo-yo. So let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? So Jake hasn't released the official specs of what the final version is going to be. However, I know what the specs of this yo-yo is because I've measured them. So the diameter is just under 54 millimeters. It's about 53.5 millimeters around, maybe a little bit more. None of my measuring tools are that exact. But the width is just about 41 millimeters wide, and of this prototype, and I would say this weighs in just about 63 grams. My scale was kind of teetering right around 63 grams, so this is right around 63 grams. It is a very organic shape, much like the non-titanium version of the Hawk. It's pretty much the same shape, just a little bit smaller. And for size comparison and shape comparison, here it is next to the Unspoken Murmur. My good friends from Unspoken will also be at East Coast Masters. You can see the Murmur is just a little bit bigger in diameter. The Murmur is 54 millimeters in diameter, but this is about 53.5, maybe just under 54. And pretty much just about as wide. It's about a millimeter less wide than the Murmur, which is 42 millimeters, which puts this right around 41 millimeters wide, which is about what I measured it at. Weights are very similar, right around 63 grams, and just really, overall, this really is a joy to play. I would say, I've played a Hawk before. This plays like a much more performance-y Hawk, is probably the best way to put it. There's more rim weight, even though it doesn't look like there's huge rims. This actually really does kind of feel and play like a bimetal. But titanium. So it really plays like a titanium, but it's a titanium bimetal-y feeling organic shape, which is really fun. Has that very classic and recognizable spike in the center like most G Squared yo-yos do, and just a nice fit in the hand. I don't know if the final versions are going to have anodized versions or not. This one is just raw, but it's like a brushed raw, and feels nice in the hand, plays nice, just is very nice. It's a nice yo-yo. I really like this. It's very, very cool. As far as titanium goes, I don't touch a whole lot of titanium, but Danny's got a bunch of titanium, so I've played a lot of his stuff, and to me, this is right up there. And the fact that it's sort of an EDC type of size is fantastic. But let's go ahead and I'll stop gushing over it, throw it around a little bit, and I'll show you guys how it plays. Alright guys, we are back with the Titanium Hawk from G Squared Yoyos. So, right off the bat, you kind of notice that titanium sort of has a different feel altogether. Got that different ping sound. These pads are kind of grippy, or this string is a little bit too thick. The gap width is a little tighter on this than most G Squared stuff, but I think that's to sort of help keep the width of the yo-yo down, to keep it very EDC friendly. But if you're getting a lot of string wraps in there, it could bind up on you. That being said, it does bind very nicely. It's not real grabby, but it is a nice snappy bind. I should put a thinner string on here. I had a thinner string on before, but it got grimy, and I wanted a nice one for the review. So I put a new string on. And, yeah, very cool. It is particularly smooth, and it grinds very well. So it's a very nice, smooth yo-yo, as you would expect from G Squared. And despite even being raw, it's like a brushed raw titanium. So the brushedness kind of helps you just grind. Like it's an interesting grind experience, but it's not bad. It doesn't grind bad. It doesn't slow the yo-yo down bad. It doesn't grab your finger, which is cool because I've played like shiny titanium yo-yos that are like polished, that'll like just skip off your arm. This doesn't do that, which I really like about that. That's part of my gripe with like polished yo-yos. As far as finger spins are concerned, it's not exactly a finger spin yo-yo, but if you hit the spike, you can do it. And there is a big cup. You can get your finger in there. I have no fingernails, and because it is just like raw aluminum, it's not going to be the best finger spin yo-yo, but it's clearly not designed for that. So, you know, I wouldn't say buy it because you want a finger spin on it, but, you know, you're probably not doing that. But otherwise, I mean, man, this thing plays so fun, so chill. And it's just, like I said, something about titanium. The ring, the like, all of it. It's very nice and stable. It regens really good. Just a killer yo-yo. There is a pretty big thumb grind lip here too, so real super easy to get your thumb in. Just overall, a very cool yo-yo, and the fact that it's gonna be up for a pre-order is something that you're maybe gonna want to jump on, because G squareds are hard to get, and to get the ultimate EDC G squared yo-yo for pretty much as many people as pre-order it within that hour is pretty special. So definitely something you're going to want to keep your eye out for, because you're going to want to pick one of these up if you have the ability to. But let's go ahead, throw it back on the desk. I'll take it apart. I'll show you guys what the insides look like, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we are back on the desk with the G Squared Yoyos Titanium Hawk. So, like I said, this is the prototype version, so there may be some differences with the final if you pre-order it versus prototype V2, but overall, it's my understanding that it's going to be pretty close to what the final version ends up being. So, let's unscrew it there. Unscrews very nicely. Standard G Squared Boss Rage bearing? Is that what this one is? I think so. I'm sure it'll come with both the grooved bearing and the flat one. Comes equipped with the G19 pads. Very nice pads. Very cool. As you can see, there's some interesting cuts and grooves and aesthetically pleasing things going on in there. It's a nicely brushed, but still pretty shiny, raw titanium. The bearing does not sit super tight on the seat, so the machining is quite nice. It's a nice smooth yo-yo without having to have a death grip on the bearing, which is awesome. Nice smooth bearing, sounds nice, is nice. G Squared uses great bearings, no complaints there. Cool on the inside. Screw it together there. Oh, come on, thread. All right, goes together nice. Very cool. Sweet, very, very sweet. So let's do pros and cons. So pros, you're going to be able to pre-order this. Now, the pre-order is only open for an hour, but if this is something you really want, you're going to want to grab it. I believe the final price is something around $250, which for a titanium yo-yo is pretty good. So the fact that you're going to be able to pre-order a G Squared, a pretty amazing premium G Squared, and it's generally cheaper than yo-yos that are titanium cost anyway, is kind of a big deal and something you're going to want to, get on, pay attention to. In addition to that, it plays great. I mean, you saw me throwing it around. It's fun. It's just kind of a chill, fun EDC titanium yo-yo. Spins good, is very smooth, good bit of power from the rim weight, very stable, just a nice playing, nice spinning yo-yo. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I'm trying not to EDC this one. I do have to give this back to Jake, and the reason you're getting the review now instead of like the day before the pre-order goes up is because I have to give this one back to Jake. It's his, and I'll see him this weekend. But definitely something you're going to want to check out. If titanium yo-yos are your thing, you're going to want a titanium yo-yo. You're going to want one of these. The fact that you can pre-order it and the fact that it's only going to be like $250, which is pretty cheap for a titanium yo-yo, is pretty incredible, pretty phenomenal, and absolutely something that if you're into stuff like this, you're going to want to look out for. As far as cons are concerned, my only con with the this version of it is that the gap is a little bit tight, so you're going to want to use thinner strings. If you're generally a guy that uses thicker strings, you're going to want to slim it down a little bit because thicker strings can be a little bit snaggy right off the bat. You saw me put the fresh kitty fat on there, and it got a little snaggy on me right off the bat, but it, you know, once it stretched out a little bit, I should have stretched it out beforehand. That was my bad. It was fine. So, you know, bearings, the gap width a little small, I think, but, you know, not bad. Not something that doesn't work itself out pretty much immediately. So, I mean, I'm really grasping at straws there. But this is a fun yo-yo. It's a fun organic yo-yo. I really like the brushed finish on it. It actually feels really cool for grinds. Usually, you know, raw finishes are pretty terrible for grinds, but this one's actually pretty good. And, you know, the interesting cuts and stuff in there also help remove some sort of surface area so it's not snagging on you or anything, which is great. But yeah, you're going to want to check out all the links down in the description for G Squared Yoyos. They'll be at East Coast Masters. This will be at East Coast Masters because I'm going to hand it back to Jake. And, you know, you're just going to want to come hang out and have a good time. Like I said, Unspoken's going to be there as well. I used the Murmur as the compare yo-yo. So, you know, maybe try them both, see what you think. But that is going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I do videos every single day. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.